Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are joined once again by Chris Hardwick. And if you haven't heard of him, well, you want to. And you're going to today because he is an adventurepreneur and it's guiding so many people on the life that they only want and dream of, because you can get it from his executive business coaching to his workshops to his training. He's also an author, CEO, and he can take you on a retreat and teach you so much about risk-taking, adventure, and so much more. So welcome to the show today, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Jill. I just got back from 3 days down in San Diego, which was a lot warmer than it is here in Vancouver, Canada at the moment. So that was awesome.
Yes, and you were with a bunch of leaders teaching them.
Yeah.
Tell me what you were doing.
Yeah, well, it was, a combination of some morning business meetings. And then, of course, one of the things I love to do more than anything else is get out in the afternoons on an adventure. So we were in La Jolla and did this sea kayaking trip.
Wow.
And we were surrounded by dolphins. It was the most incredible thing, like jumping out of the water, like between our kayaks after we had to get out through this 3-foot high surf where we all got absolutely soaked. Thankfully, we were wearing wetsuits because it was pretty cool in the water.
Yeah.
And there was pelicans dive bombing around us for the fish. And there was seals swimming around us. And then we got over to these sea lions on this rock. And we watched about 200 of them all jump in the water in the space of just like 30 seconds. Seagulls, cormorants. And then the coolest part about the whole trip was these caves that we were riding waves into these caves. It was pretty sketchy, actually. And then we'd turn around in these caves and then we'd have to paddle back out through these gaps that were only just wide enough for the kayaks. So that was fun. And then the next afternoon, a group of us went out on jet skis, and we were flying around at like 60 miles an hour on this on this jet ski. And it's it was so much fun. Anyway, it was a lot of my clients were like, yeah, that's the most fun I've had in a long time.
Good
and
for you.
Some really amazing dinners out. We went to a comedy show, and it was just a fun time. I got back late last night. So, yeah.
Wow. And you're here today. Talk about accountability, right?
Oh, that's right. Well, you schedule a call, you make it happen, but you got to have an accountability partner. That's how it works. And you're my accountability partner for these calls.
Thank
so really
you.
appreciate you, Jill.
And isn't that what you wanted to discuss today?
Yeah, I did
Good
want to talk about
segue. See?
Yeah.
Well,
it's one of the things that so many people just miss the opportunity to have an accountability partner in their life.
Yeah.
And I know for me, in all aspects of my life, whether it's the books I've been writing, whether it's my VA keeping me on point with monthly blogs and regular social media posts, or whether it's been past business coaches in the past, or even running coaches, personal trainers. I've got a lot of people in my life that hold me accountable. And as a result, I'm able to achieve far more than most people ever dream of.
Beautiful. And that's what we want to discuss. Why is accountability so important for personal and professional growth?
Yeah, because if you don't have somebody else in your life, let's be honest, if you've got a choice between sitting on the couch, watching a Netflix movie, or lacing up your runners and going on a 5-mile run, and it's raining outside, let's be honest, who's going to lace up their runners and go out for a run? But if you know you've got a commitment to your running coach, that you've got to get in a certain number of miles every week, I guarantee you that accountability is it's going to be in your head, and you're going to be going, what am I going to say? Am I going to tell him that it was raining and I didn't want to go out? No, because that's a failure. Or my personal trainer who I meet with once a week. And, it's 6 o'clock every Tuesday morning, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
That means I got to be up at 5 o'clock to have breakfast, have a bit of food and do my stretches and stuff to get ready for my workout. Like, if I didn't have that scheduled appointment, would I be getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning? Probably not, right?
No,
And
no.
so they're just some examples. And in a business world, it's the same thing. Like, I operate as a business coach for a lot of my clients. I'm the one that holds them accountable. I lead peer groups where the other members of the group hold other members accountable. And it's crazy. Like, you've got a call scheduled tomorrow with your coach. I don't care what industry they're coaching in. Like I say, whether it's a personal trainer, a running coach, a book coach, a VA who's, like, you get the work done
Yeah.
and you prepare for that meeting the next morning
Yeah.
because you've made a commitment
God bless.
to that person and yourself. But unless you've got that appointment scheduled, it's really easy to just go, I don't really feel like doing it. And as a result, we're not getting one step closer to our goals or the things that we want to achieve in our life. So accountability is huge, but it can come in many, many forms, not just in the form of a business coach.
Got it. And I want to talk more about, the fact of holding yourself accountable, right, can lead to that greater success and fulfillment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not, it's kind of like it starts with, I think for me, it's very important to understand what our purpose is in life, our why. Simon Sinek wrote that great book around the meaning of getting to why. So why do we do what we do? Why do we get up in the morning and go to work? Why do we, have a business? Why do we go running? Whatever it is. If we aren't clear on our purpose in life and what it is we want to achieve, that's a foundational piece, the vision for our lives. And then really it's a lot around goal setting. How are we going to achieve that place that we want to get to? And if we don't build a plan of how we're going to get there, first you've got to do that, like purpose, vision for our lives, what are the goals we're going to set to get there. You can have all the goals in the world, but if you don't have anybody to keep you, accountable, to keep an eye on you, to check in with on a regular basis, that's why people don't achieve their goals. It's the number one reason people do not achieve their goals is because they do not have an accountability partner to hold them to their own commitments. And we talk about self-accountability, but most people are not very good with self-accountability. I mean, it's a great concept.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be on this call unless I had this call scheduled with you. That's accountability.
And you got up after that late night, that big trip, that, And
I got in really late last night, but I was up early this morning doing my yoga and mobility and stretching exercises and stuff and having an early breakfast and getting ready for the call, right?
See, so it helps you stay focused and motivated, this accountability.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you just end up drifting around at the whim of other people, maybe what they're doing or social media. I won't go down the social media sinkhole, but you can easily waste a lot of your life doing things that provide no value. And just a comment on social media. Let's be honest, these people who run these social media platforms, they understand better than us how our brains work. They get it that if you're getting a bunch of likes, if you're getting a bunch of comments, that the endorphins, that's releasing endorphins that makes us feel good. But the reality is it doesn't translate to actually us achieving anything. How many likes we get doesn't result in us achieving anything in our lives. Anyway, social media, we're learning that it's really causing a lot of problems in our youth. Anxiety's at an all-time high. Everybody's spending all this time on social media looking at what other people are doing. And I'm almost about ready to go on a complete social media turn off, because why do I want to be influenced by what other people are doing in their lives and what influencers are getting paid to sell products and services to you? Let's be honest, they're being funded by the companies that they're sponsoring. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to do in your life? Forget about what everybody else is doing. What do you want to do? What's your personal purpose? What's your why? What's the vision for your life? Let's figure that out first. Let's figure out what the steps are to get there. And then let's make sure you've got an accountability partner to hold you accountable. Because I guarantee you, nobody holds themselves accountable. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You need to have somebody else in your life. And if you're like me, I've got a dozen different accountability partners for all different aspects
I
of
was
my
going
life.
to ask, just some examples. Could you share of how, being held accountable has helped you achieve your goals and overcome challenges? Sure, you have plenty.
I shared earlier this year that I ran my very first marathon.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 16 years old, I was in a really bad motorcycle crash. And I broke my neck, my back, both my ankles, and crushed my right knee. And I was told at the age of 16 that I would never run again. And when I turned 60 a couple of years ago, I reminded myself of this promise that I would run a marathon one day. And I thought, well, I'm not getting any younger. I am getting stronger and fitter, mind you, but I'm not getting any younger. And I thought, I really need to invest in my success and the ability to achieve this goal of becoming a marathon runner and doing my first marathon. Mm-hmm. But in order to do that, I knew I needed a running coach. I needed a personal trainer. I needed a kinesiologist. And I needed to work with an orthotics company, because some issues with my misalignment due to my broken knee from years ago. For 45 years, I've been nursing a bung knee. And to the point where going up and down steps, I have to double step. Yet I've been climbing mountains and doing stuff all over the world, double stepping up and down like hiking trails. And now I can actually walk up and down stairs normally. But that's all because of the fact I got these accountability partners into my life, and we built a program to get me running safely without injury. And here I am. I did my first marathon at the age of 61 this year in 5.5 hours. Now, I hit the wall at about 32 kilometers of the 42 kilometers, and I had to walk the last 10K. That's because I didn't do enough of the long distance running that I was supposed to be doing. And I kind of, I knew that going in, but I still managed to finish it in a respectable time. The cutoff was like 7 hours. And now I've signed up for a triathlon, an Olympic distance triathlon, a half marathon, a marathon, and I just signed up for my first ultra marathon next year. Now, I haven't been running for 6 months because I've been having some other issues from some other old injuries with some broken ankles and some issues with my feet. I've been working on that the last few months, but it's all been, based on these regular check-ins with my coach, with my kinesiologist, with my physiotherapist, and commitments to training. And we've got a plan. I'm going to start running in January.
Yay!
After I get back from a ski trip to Japan with my boys, that is. Tomorrow is my birthday.
Happy birthday! That's exciting. Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's not very exciting turning 62, I can tell you.
Come on. It's still your special
But
day.
I'm going skiing up at Whistler Blackcomb with a few buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And we're staying over. We're going to see a Warren Miller movie, who's a famous ski movie maker, tomorrow night. And this is, my son was up skiing the other day. And as he says, yeah, Dad, we were skiing in 2 foot of fresh powder. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Wow.
But for me, you asked about how. One of the keys that I find to making this stuff happen is putting it in my calendar. I schedule stuff. And so I use my calendar not only for business calls and business meetings, I use it to book everything in my personal life. So I've already gone out into next year. I'm booking like 7-day long hiking trips around the north end of Vancouver Island in August. My wife and I are booking a trip to Italy in September next year. I've got this trip planned to Japan to go skiing with my 3 boys, flying out on December 27th. I put all of this stuff into my calendar So I'll sit down at the end of every year and I will build out a calendar of adventures for the entire year. And then I will put all of that into an email and I'll share that with a lot of the people that I work with and friends and family. And then I'll give people the opportunity to sort of let me know if they're interested in joining me on one of those expeditions or one of those trips. And I'll get that into their calendar. And then we'll start talking about a training plan or what gear they need or what they need to know or prepare for. And I find the calendar is probably one of the most useful accountability tools because, and look, a lot of people don't like to schedule their life. I get that. But one of the things I do is I schedule a few days off at the beginning of every month as just days off. And I don't necessarily put in there exactly what I'm doing because it might depend upon who wants to join me or what the weather forecast is or or how I'm feeling or what my level of fitness is or what have you. And then I'll just create these windows of, here's a 3-day weekend. Here's a 5-day, long weekend where I can add on a Friday or a Monday or a Tuesday or something. I build these blocks of time into my calendar, and that makes it possible for me to do so much more than many other people because they don't have these commitments to themselves.
Yep.
So that's a form of self-accountability, is a calendar. And you start inviting people on these events. Now you've got accountability without even realizing it with the other people that have said, yeah, I'd like to come on that ski trip, Chris. I'd like to come on that hiking trip. I'd like to, whether it's a business retreat or a personal retreat, we get these blocks of time carved into the calendar 6-12 months ahead. And it's like a commitment to ourselves and others that we are going to do that thing. So you can apply it to business, personal life, activities, adventures, whatever you want. But as our listeners know, Jill, for me, the lines between business and adventure are kind of blurred.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we also just, I have to mention how we contact you. That it's part of the process. We're talking importance of accountability here with our Adventurepreneur. How do we contact you?
Yeah, probably the best thing is just to jump on my website at Chris Hardwick Inc., which is ChrisHardwickInc.com. Book a call. There's a call link on there. Book a 15-minute call with me. I'd love to get to know more about you, what turns your crank, what sorts of things and adventures and business opportunities and initiatives you want to take in the next year. And let's have a conversation about how we can help you achieve your goals and your dreams. The other way to get a hold of me is you can just Google me at Chris Hardwick Leadership. And no, I'm not the comedian. I'm the Adventurepreneur. And
I love it.
They're probably the simplest two ways to get a hold of me.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about some more obstacles that people face and, sticking with accountability, maybe how they can overcome it? What did you have in mind for us next?
Sure. In terms of obstacles, I think we like to be comfortable. Let's be honest. If we have a choice, and I actually had a speaker, awesome guy by the name of Dan Miller, flew in from Bismarck into San Diego on the weekend. He's a guy that I invited to come climb Kilimanjaro with me last year, and his two boys with a group of us. Anyway, Dan was talking about some really, really interesting stuff related to goal achievements. But one of the things he shared was, for those people that have a dog, just think about the fact that if your dog had its way, it would be lying on the couch, sleeping all day long. And the only time it's going to get up is when there's food to eat. And it'll eat the food and it'll go back and lie on the couch. And let's be honest, most of us, if we didn't have to do anything else, would probably just lie on the couch, eat when we're hungry, and then go back and lie on the couch.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, that dog needs walking. Otherwise, it's just going to be a fat dog
Yeah.
and it ain't going to be going anywhere, right?
So
Well,
true.
think of ourselves as dogs.
Yeah.
That dog doesn't want to actually get off the couch. It's perfectly happy being fed and lying on the couch. But I can tell you, it's going to have a very short life. And what do? We get up off our ass, we grab the leash, and we take our dog and we take it for a walk. We're exactly the same way. We need to think of ourselves as being like that dog lying on the couch. All we want to do is lie on the couch and eat.
Yeah.
We're going to live a very short and unhappy life, unfulfilled life. And we need to think of that. A lot of people, and if you go back, one of the things that Dan talks about is how, as Homo sapiens, we had to spend the majority of the history of us, whether it's thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, some people say even millions of years that we've been on the face of the earth, we had to hunt. We had to gather. We had to chase down our food. We had to build shelters. We had to find water, like all this stuff we had to do. Well, now here we are. We've got the central heating. We've got the roof over our heads. We can do Amazon delivery or Uber Eats or whatever. Like, we've eliminated a lot of these things that we had to do in order to survive. And a lot of us are turning into big, fat couch potatoes.
Yes.
Just like the dog that's not getting any exercise. But we're not going to live a very long, happy, or fulfilled life if we don't get off the couch and get outside and get some exercise. And so, my message for people, that's the biggest takeaway that I had from Dan's presentation is, let's not be the dog lying on the couch getting fat.
So
Let's
true.
get that dog on the leash and take him for a walk. And the best thing we can do for ourselves is eat less and get our 10,000 steps a day walking in. You do that, I tell you, you're going to live a long, happy.
What do you use to track your steps? Just curious.
I don't track them.
Oh, okay.
I have a Garmin watch that I use because of a lot of the places I go to, there's no cell reception, and that communicates directly with the satellites.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people to look at it every day and see how many steps I've had. I just know if I haven't been out and gotten some exercise, I don't feel good. I feel lethargic. And whenever I go out and get exercise, I feel energized.
Yeah.
I feel upbeat, and it's a great feeling to have. And we all know that we're going to feel better when we get back. And we're going to feel energized. But sometimes it's just hard to get off the couch.
Yeah.
But if you've got an alarm that beeps at you that says, hey, or a scheduled run time in your calendar, and it's like, Chris, you scheduled a run at 7 o'clock this morning, and it's in your schedule, that's one step closer to actually, and sit your running shoes beside the front door, maybe at the entrance to the living room. Put your shorts and your shirt and your runners sitting there with a reminder that, oh yeah, I was going to go for a run this morning, or even if it's a walk, it doesn't have to be a run. And there's a great book called Atomic Habits, and James Freer. Anyway, I'm forgetting the author for a moment, and that's one of the tactics that he suggests is just put your runners and your running gear beside the front door every night.
Yeah.
And now when you get up in the morning, at least put them on.
Yep.
And even if you just put them on and walk around the house, do that for a week, and then put them on and walk around the block, and then put them on and walk around 2 blocks, and work your way up to it. And before long, it'll become a habit where you'll get out and you'll be going 10,000 steps a day.
Wow.
There's all kinds of apps to record it. Most of them are already on your phone. But the distance isn't as important as the activity.
Yeah.
And everyone can walk.
So true.
Get out, get walking. And there's another great book by Dr. David Sinclair called Lifespan. Mm-hmm. You want to live longer? Eat less. It's as simple as that. Eat less and walk. If you do those 2 things, you'll live a happy, healthy, long life. And when you get comfortable with walking for 10,000 steps every day,
Yeah.
you'll be set up to start running if you want to run, right? Or hike or get off into the wilderness. So there's a very simple things that allow you to get started.
Yeah.
Put it in your schedule, get an accountability partner, maybe reach out to one of your neighbors or friends and say, hey, I'm going to meet you here at this street corner at 7 a.m. and, 5 mornings of the week. Now you've just created an accountability partner.
God bless. I love it. I love it. And we're out of time, unfortunately. Any last minute advice you want to give to someone who may be struggling with accountability? What would you say? Yeah, leave those shoes.
I would say that's it. Yeah. Put it in your calendar. Get an accountability partner for every aspect of your life that you want to increase or expand. And go get it.
Aw, thanks. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you back here. Good luck the rest of your adventure and the rest of your week. Go get them. How do we contact you, Chris?
ChrisHardwickInc.com or Google Chris Hardwick Leadership.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. You have a fantastic day. To all of our listeners and viewers, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more. Please stay with us. Thanks again.
Thanks, Jill.
Bye-bye.
Daily grind got you down? Dreaming of adventure? Want to reset your life? G'day. I'm Chris Hardwick, Adventurepreneur. For 20 years, I've been taking entrepreneurs into the wilderness and scaring the shit out of them. Through coaching and wilderness expeditions, conquer your fears and take risks to transform your business and your life. Google Chris Hardwick Leadership or visit chrishardwickinc.com to book a call.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.